has given birth to certain social evils, such as the number one, the caste system leads to untouchability. Untouchability is the worst example of the caste system prevailing in India. No doubt it has been abolished by the act passed by the parliament, but yet it is practiced in the rural areas. It is the hateful expression of caste. Large section of people are reduced to the virtual slavery. As long as untouchability is practiced, no solidarity of Hindu society is possible, as they were made to live in exclusion and they were deprived of the meager necessities of life. Who? The untouchables. They are actually made to rot in life. The caste system is like a bad coin because of untouchability. The second is the rigid caste system led to social immobility and occupational mobility. It means the caste system deprives a person from doing a job of his choice. He has to do the job which the fellow beings of his caste are doing. Irrespective of one's likes or dislikes, one has to continue only his traditional hereditary occupation. This situation is a hindrance for economic development. And for economic development, it is important that as per the skills, abilities, capabilities of a person, he should do his work. And if he is forced to do a work that he doesn't want to do, in that condition, he will work, but the outcome will be not a satisfactory one. The caste system retarded the growth of solidarity and brotherhood in the Hindu society by rigidly separating one class from another and damaging any type of social intercourse between them. Caste system, it is an hindrance in the solidarity and brotherhood feeling in the Hindu society because of its rigidity, which separate one class from the other and damage the social intercourse between them, the social relationships among them, interrelationships among different classes. The caste system often results in putting a man in the wrong occupation. The caste in which one is born always decides one's problem in life or his occupation. He is not permitted to take up any other profession, though he may possess the skills and may like that job. The caste has given an aristocracy to birth, not to them. Means, as per birth, the occupation will be decided in the caste system. If a person is born in the family of a Brahmin, he will perform all the work that a Brahmin will do. No doubt, he may possess a strong body, a strong build, and he may become a warrior, he wants to become a warrior, but he will not be allowed to do so. The caste system is a great obstacle to the social and economic progress of nation. Since people believe in the theory of karma, they become conservative in their ideas. The theory of karma, karma pradhan hai. The people, because of this theory, becomes conservative in their ideas, and because their economic position is fixed, they are led to inertia, and everything comes to standstill because of their conservative ideology. The caste system is always an obstacle to national unity. It is the spirit of caste patriotism which endangers opposition to the caste and creates an unhealthy atmosphere for the growth of national consciousness. There is no chance of any national unity, national integration, national consciousness. These concepts are totally vanished in the caste system, because in the caste system one is more particular about his caste than the nation. Caste system is also undemocratic because it does not give equal rights and opportunities to all the people, irrespective of their caste, creed, or color. Total demarcation, total inequality exists in the caste system in India. So it is said to be an undemocratic system. The caste system that we know today, or that is prevailing nowadays in the society, was never as similar as it is. This particular thing happened after the intervention of the colonial rulers in the social spheres of the Indian society. What we know about caste system today is more a product of colonialism than of ancient Indian traditions. All these changes have been brought about, were intended or deliberate, because the Britishers, they wanted to rule, they wanted to administer the Indian society, the country. They wanted to govern the country. And this they wanted to do in a methodical manner. What the Britishers started doing, that is after 1857 revolt, when the Mughals were thrown away and everything came under the entire India came under the rule of the British Crown after the passing of the Queen Proclamation in Act. What happened? That the British government started collecting data on different aspects of the Indian society. The survey method was used, census method came into being, and in 1881 the first census was done in the country, and that census was also based on caste data collection. In 1901, census under the direction of Herbert Risley was particularly important, as it sought to collect information on the social hierarchy of caste, that is the social order or precedence in particular regions, as to the position of each caste in the ranking order. Overall, this kind of direct attempt of counting the caste and to officially record caste status changed the institution itself. Before this kind of intervention, caste identities were much fluid and less rigid. After the counting started and being recorded, the caste began to take new turns. The land revenue settlements are also related arrangements, and laws served to give legal recognition to customary caste-based rights of all upper castes. So the upper caste were given the rights to manage the land holdings and to collect the revenue and to settle the revenue with the British government. The upper caste became landowners but not feudal classes. They claimed on the produce of land or claims to revenue or tribute of various kinds. In Punjab, the various irrigation schemes as effort to settle population was based on caste dimensions. The administration started taking interest in the welfare of downtrodden castes called as depressed classes. And the major and the biggest act was was the Government of India Act 1935, which was passed to give legal recognition to the schedules list of caste and tribes. And in this way, because of this Act of 1935, the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes came into existence, and later on they were entered in the Constitution of India. Caste dimensions were made basis of different schemes. Hence, these efforts by the British gave birth to discrimination, because now the castes which were given the benefits, the maximum benefits, they were becoming rich, prosperous, and those who were given less weightage, they were becoming poor, and later on they were started being discriminated. Therefore, intervention by the colonial state had a great impact on caste system, which included the end of self-dependency of the Indian villages. Traditional classes like the kings, priests, moneylenders, craftsmen, and the peasants, farmers, and administrative officers emerged. Such type of classes started emerging. The British government brought about revolutionary changes in agriculture. A new revenue system was imposed. As a result, the rural class structure that was based on caste hierarchy showed many changes, and the landowners exploited the peasant farmers. So, whatever changes that the Britishers were bringing in the Indian society, those changes divided the class into two categories. The classes into two categories, the rich and the poor. The rich were those who were given the benefits of holding more and more land, and they were given privileges in all the schemes that were introduced by the British government, and those who were ignored, they started becoming poor. So the rich class and the poor class, these were the two dimensions, or say two stratas, the class stratas during the British rule. As a result, the initial economic and political policies of the British, the old individual caste-based classes, finished and gave way to the new feudal farmer structure. In this social arrangement, the dominant castes were the zamindars and the moneylenders. The middle caste and the workers were from the lower caste. So the upper caste, from the upper caste came the zamindars, the moneylenders, and the middle class comprised of the lower caste people or the poor people. Thus fundamental changes took place in caste system during the British rule.